Hey guys, Scattershot coming at you today with a little bit of Overwatch gameplay as Hanzo, just playing a little bit of Volskaya right now. But you can call me Fruity Ninja 06 or Scatter, whichever one you prefer. Fruity Ninja 06 is my original account that I've always played on, but I'm going to be making a new one called Scattershot for my new YouTube channel, so my stats are going to be pretty bad. I'm going to be level 1 on everything, but it's whatever. You know, I'll get it done. I'll start leveling up quick. But right now I'm just going to be coming at you with a little bit of a commentary. This is just kind of going to be like a little bit of an introduction to my channel. I'm just not really sure what I'm going to do yet, so I'm going to start off with like commentaries, just kind of talking, telling stories, just kind of talking about like whatever's going on, like just in the world really. Like I'm not just going to be talking about boring politics or anything like that. It's actually going to be like just talking about stuff on like Twitter and the internet and stuff like that. So that's really about it. I mean, I'm not really sure what else you guys would want me to do. I mean, anything else you guys want me to do, just like leave in the comments. I don't know, like if you want me to do rage tages, I can get tons of those done in Overwatch. Freaking Torbjorn. But I could do. Just don't ask for montages. Just don't ask. They'll be bad. They'll be terrible. But I could even do. I don't know, just more stories, cut comms, just talking about anything really. Or just like a little bit of gameplay, really, or even reviews, let's plays, whatever you need me, whatever is wanted, I'll do. But for right now, I'm just telling you guys a little bit of a commentary. Hopefully this will turn out better than my last YouTube channel. Don't ask about it. It's terrible. I don't know. That's a story for another day for me to tell you guys about. And then, yeah, I'll tell you guys about that another day. That's a terrible story. So, I don't know, I'm gonna cut it off right here, and then I'm coming at you with a little bit of a commentary. So today, I was reminded of a rather disgusting experience I would have rather forgotten. And I don't even remember what I was doing, but there was just something that reminded me of this story, something that happened about a year ago. So basically, the story starts off as is one day, like, my mom says she smells something disgusting in the kitchen, right? Excuse me. So we go through, we clean out all the drawers, we do everything, we sweep, we do everything we can to clean it, and she still smells it afterwards, right? And what makes it weird is my mom's the only person that smells it. So we're sitting here like, well, what does it smell like? She's just like, it smells disgusting. Like, she can't really explain it to us. So eventually one day, I'm coming home from school, and my dad picks me up, and he's kind of silent, and then all of a sudden he asks me, what do you think is getting dirty today? So I ask him what he means, and he tells me that he thinks something might be wrong in the crawl space. And so he says, I need you to go down into the crawl space, just crawl in there and go see what you can find. He says, because my dad's legs are really bad. And he says, so like, me and you are the only people that can fit down there except for your brother, but I don't think he'll want to do it. And he says, but my legs aren't good enough to, like, work around down there. Like, he wouldn't be able to move around as well as he needs to be. So I'm like, okay, it's whatever. I'll think about it. So then the time comes, and I go down there. Yeah, eventually I'm like, you know, fine, I'll do it. Because at first I didn't want to. Because I'm just like, well, like, what's going to be down there? Like, but eventually I do it. I go down there, so I get dressed up in like my old dirty clothes, and then I walk in there. I walk downstairs. My dad's already waiting for me. He's got like a ladder set up and everything for me. He's got like a flashlight ready for me. I got my phone in my pocket, so he's like, I need you to just crawl in there and see if you can find what I think is happening. Cause he thinks that there's a leak underneath our house. He thinks there's a leak down there. Some of the pipes are leaking. That's what he thinks. So he goes down there, or I go down there. I start climbing in there. Basically, it's like a wall, and the wall itself is like 7 feet tall, and from the top down to about the middle, so probably like 3 feet of space is this hole. 3.5 feet of space or so is this hole that opens up. It's like a little hatch that it locks. So we're like, alright, I crawl in there. We have like the ladder propped up against the wall so I can climb on in there. And then I get in there, and it's like, basically it's like a little pit surrounded by like stones and dirt. And there's like just jump down there, and then like it like steps up, so there's even less room between me and the floor. And then, so I start crawling in there, and it's all dusty, and I'm like, really? So I start looking through, looking for anything really that looks out of place, and then I don't see anything where I'm at, which doesn't surprise me, because I couldn't really see anything. But then I start actually looking, and then I go into the step up, and it's basically just a big giant square room. But in the middle, there was just this pit of mud, like 4 feet across, and from where I was standing to the other wall, it was probably 6 feet, easily. Probably closer to 7 feet of just dried up, not even dried up. And I don't even know how to explain it. It was just mud, but like it was been untouched, so it was like all goopy and like it was hard in some spots. Oh my god, it was disgusting. So I don't end up going through it at all, but I told my dad, I'm like, fine, well, why don't you start up the water and I'll see, because basically on the other side, it was the pipe comes out of the ceiling, or the bottom of the floor really, and it comes down and there's like this little, it does this weird little like curve / turn, and it goes forward. So I'm like, and then it shoots off to the very side, like almost parallel with the mud pit, the mud. Almost parallel with the mud, and then it shoots back up. It just goes in the plumbing. It doesn't really matter where it goes from there, but I'm like, so why don't you start up the water and we'll see what goes on, right? He starts up the water upstairs, and there's a leak. He was right. But at the time, I only see one. So I tell him what goes on. He's like, sweet, we can get that done in like a day. We can get that done today. I'm like, fine. So I crawl back down into like that little dust pit, and I'm sitting in the window with my brother. We're just kind of sitting there talking. My dad's like, okay, I'll go to the hardware store and pick up the parts we need. So I'm going, or he's gone. I have my brother bring me a snack, so we're kind of just sitting there chilling. So my dad comes back. He replaces it with PVC piping.
Soldier 70.
And he replaces it with the piping. And all of a sudden I'm just like, okay, sweet. So I gotta crawl through this mud. I'm just like, oh. So he brings me his drill, so I can start cutting through all this, the piping. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I start crawling through it, and oh my god, it was a sickening feeling. Just basically anything that you wash down your sink in a month was collected down there. All the water was mixed in with the dirt and then left there for like a month, just sitting there. And then, so I keep going, and then I start crawling through, and it's just cold. It's cold. It's disgusting. It's cold. And of course, like I said, the little part that I need to cut out is on the complete opposite side. And then, so I start crawling over, and I'm just like, oh my god. I end up having to take a screwdriver down there with me. And I got the screwdriver in my pocket. I start crawling across with the drill. I'm going. It's cold. It's disgusting. Like nothing I've ever done before. It's disgusting. So I'm crawling. I get to the other end, and I start sawing away at the other end, right, with this like power saw. So I'm going. It's all going good. As good as, it can be when you're crawling around in tons of mud. So basically what happened is my dad got me like an exact copy of this piece. And then there was a rubber sleeve attached to the end that I had to put on there and attach. That's why I had the screwdriver, so I could screw it on, because there was like a metal bracket on each side to tighten it. So I get on there, and it doesn't fit quite right. It doesn't fit. On the end that it shoots off, where I cut, that long pipe, it doesn't fit quite right. So it takes me probably an hour to get this thing to fit quite right. And all of a sudden I get it to fit, I start screwing it in, I'm like, yes, I can get out of here. I'll be out of here within the next like 10 minutes. I told my dad, he's like, sweet, we can get out of here. Start getting it done, and then we realized that there's a leak somewhere else. Mind you, this took me probably 2.5 hours to get done. I'm down there for 2.5 hours, wriggling around in the mud, screwing it in, unscrewing it, trying it different ways. Then I back up, so I can get a good view of the whole thing. And then he starts the water up, right? And then he starts the water, and I look back, and there's a leak on that part that I said shoots off parallel to the dirt. There's another leak. My dad's like, well, there's nothing we can do to fix it today, because, like, I didn't have this much money set aside for it. So I crawl out, and it's about a week goes by. My mom said the smell decreased. It wasn't as bad, but it's still there. But and then so we head out to Menards. We get like this big, huge, long pipe, probably 10 feet across. We're like, you know what, this will do. It's probably way more than we need, but that way we'll have spares. And then so we start working. I start cutting. I do the same thing really, which is just as hard because I get in there and I gotta cut off this like 5-foot piece of like metal. And so I cut it off, I pulled through the mud, which was excruciatingly painful, pulling a 5-foot piece of metal through the mud. So I pull it out, I gave it to my dad, he measured it up, and he cuts off that much in the PVC piping. So he gives it into me, I start going, and then I get it screwed in, right? So, I mean, it's a happy ending, but it was disgusting. But this whole time, the worst part was just it was scary down there. Like, it was just all dark. All I could see was wherever my flashlight was shining. Like, it wasn't even slightly light down there. It was all, like, I had to use my flashlight to see everything. It was terrible. So, I even saw a mouse down there. His name was Fred. I knew it was the same mouse because I kept seeing him over and over again. So, it was just overall just a disgusting experience. It's just terrible. It was so disgusting. So it's all good now. It's still PVC piping down there. But then my dad's like, yep, I'm going to have you go down there again. Luckily, I'm not going to have to crawl through the mud there. And eventually, my dad said the mud will soak down into the dirt and the snow will disappear. Everything will be good to go. But I got to reseal the foundation for him underneath there. So I don't know. I haven't seen Fred since. I knew it was Fred too. I know it was the same mouse. He always he had a cut off tail. I don't know. I think my dog ate Fred. My dog likes to eat mice.